This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. Today, I want to go ahead and pause on the seriousness of life for a moment and dive into some classic tabloid fluff, designed to not only keep us distracted, but as well dumb and stupid. This week, the spotlight's on Prince Harry now being painted as a man adrift, lacking purpose next to his ambitious-driven wife and the future king in the making. This week, 3 major tabloids seem to be running similar stories of relegating Harry to the back, as well as him becoming increasingly desperate. After skimming these, it's hard to ignore the whiff of paid PR. The question is, who is behind it? One article might have the palace's fingerprints on it, while the other screams Meghan's influence, and one, not so sure. Join me as I go through this mind-numbing entertainment to see what BS they're telling us now to believe. Let's go ahead and begin with one of the largest tabloid magazines here in the United States, Us Weekly. As you can see, they have Prince William and Prince Harry on its cover to show us the night and day difference. Let's get into Harry and William's worlds apart. My initial reaction to this cover story, just by this layout, is that this is pretty embarrassing for Prince Harry, especially since he's here in the United States. So could this be a message from the palace? I would like to think so, as a way of setting the global stage for this future king and his place in the world compared to Prince Harry's. Yeah, I think so. But you tell me what you think. Let's get into it. On June 4th, Prince William traveled to Wadisham Air Base in Suffolk, England, where he spoke to soldiers from the Army Air Corps and presented a King's Commendation for Valuable Service Award. The former search and rescue pilot, who flew to and from the location in a reconnaissance Wildcat helicopter, looked handsome and at ease in military fatigues and a beret as he toured the facilities and watched training drills. William was given the title of Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps by his father, King Charles, last May. That same day in Montecito, California, Prince Harry was also on public display, in a drastically different way. In honor of his daughter Little Betty's 4th birthday, Harry's wife, Meghan Markle, shared a throwback video to her Instagram account that showed the couple twerking in a hospital room while waiting for very pregnant Meghan to go into labor. When spicy food, all that walking, and acupuncture didn't work, there was only one thing left to do. She wrote alongside the now viral clip in which they're seen getting down to Baby Mama by Starkesha. The contrast between the estranged brothers could not be more striking. Had Harry remained a working royal, it likely would have been him at Wadisham Air Base. He flew Apache helicopters there during his time in the British Army. But since leaving his royal duties behind in 2020, the 40-year-old has made a new life alongside Meghan and their 2 children in the States. William, 42, is busy preparing for his future as the King of England while balancing being a husband to Princess Catherine and a hands-on dad to their 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Harry and Meghan are highlighting a life of fun and lightness, while William's is dominated by duty and public service, says a royal insider. They are worlds apart. I think what they're trying to show here, without actually being so rude about it, is Harry and Meghan are just not serious and respected people. Night and day. Harry's Montecito lifestyle bears little resemblance to his years spent in his native UK. He enjoys the freedom he didn't have as a working royal, says royal commentator Amanda Mata. Now, that name should ring a bell, folks. Amanda Mata is that Mata of fat or fact, whatever it is, but this wretched cretin was the one who had made the comment about Prince Louis being feral. There's a long history of this sugar, Amanda Mata of fat, but we'll go into that at another time. She goes on to say, he's parenting on his own terms and can go on bike rides or date nights without the British press tracking his every move. Meghan's social media return offers an eagle-eyed view into Harry's new normal. In photos and videos, he can be seen running on the beach with Archie and little Betty, going on rides at Disneyland, and enjoying a Beyoncé concert. In a June 17th appearance on the Aspire with Emma Grede podcast, Meghan, who launched her new lifestyle series with Love Meghan and As Ever product line in March, said she's grateful she can share family content on my own terms. Across the pond, William is all about fulfilling his royal duty. He's embracing his new role as Prince of Wales, says royal historian Marlene Koning, who believes the father of three has found his groove, especially with Catherine back in action. William goes about his job as heir to the throne without complaint, says Koenig. He understands the assignment. He supports the king, but is also paving his own path to the top job. In July, he and Catherine are set to join Charles to host French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte at Windsor Castle, and President Donald Trump is expected for a state visit in September. Royal expert Richard Fitzwilliam says the pressure on William is unrelenting, but he's up to the task. He's well prepared to take on the responsibility of being king, he says. He's an accomplished diplomat, and his popularity here and in the U.S. is huge. You know that this last piece is going to sting, especially for Meghan. Anyway, bitterness remains. 5 years after Harry's departure, there's lingering resentment. Harry left a large gap in William's world, not just personally, but practically, explains the insider. The whole idea was for Harry to work hand in hand with William and to divide and conquer during William's monarchy. So Harry not being there is tough. He feels deserted by his brother. Not that he would ever say that out loud. In Harry's absence, the insider says, William plans to lean more on his cousins, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Amanda Mata-Fat says that while William isn't jealous of Harry's new life, he has borrowed a page from his younger brother's playbook. We've seen William take selective time away from the public eye to protect his wife and children, carve out personal days, and assert more control over his platform. Mata-Fat tells us it's quieter, more measured version of Harry's break. For Harry, there are regrets, not about leaving the firm, but about all that was lost in the shuffle, including his relationships with William and his father, many of his old friends, as well as his military titles and his patronages. Koenig says Harry has yet to figure out his next act outside of royalty. He hasn't been entirely successful, especially in terms of earning money for the family. That seems to have fallen on Meghan. Koenig says, while With Love Meghan was renewed for a second season, Meghan's podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, is on an indefinite hiatus as she focuses on her as ever, whatever brand. You can see right here that Meghan and Harry are just not serious people. They've turned out to be such a joke. No turning back. The distance between the brothers continues to grow wider. The more time passes, the more William and Harry seem to be settling into their respective lives, says Amanda Mata-Fat, adding that there is no open conflict, just radio silence. Fitzwilliam says the siblings are not in contact and haven't been for a while. For now, they're forging ahead on their own paths. A formal return to royal life for Harry feels incredibly unlikely, notes Mata-Fat, especially if we're talking about William offering his brother a way back. The trust isn't there, Koenig adds. William and Harry are separated by more than an ocean. There are no plans for reconciliation. They are two brothers living very separate lives. All right, my gorgeous, good-looking friends, who do you think is responsible for commissioning this cover story? I personally think it is part of the palace's PR strategy to build William's brand up, to make him look like the global leader that he's going to be. And they have to do this in various markets like the US. What better way to do that and get back at your brother than to highlight your strengths and your merit next to your brother? It speaks for itself. Moving now to across the pond, Closer magazine has this story on its cover about Harry's secret UK return. Is this a puff piece put out by the Harkle PR machine? In my opinion, I think it's Meghan manifesting again, but you tell me. Harry's returned home for last-ditch crisis talks. Apparently, sources divulge exclusively to Closer magazine about Harry and Meghan's plans this summer. I think we all have an idea as to who that source is. Anyway, the article begins. Amid their long-running estrangement and almost a year and a half since they were last understood to have had a face-to-face meeting, Closer can exclusively reveal that Prince Harry has plans to visit the UK to see his father, King Charles III, for crisis talks. An insider close to the Duke of Sussex, Meghan, says Harry and Meghan are coming over to Europe this summer. They will visit their villa in Portugal, and while they are over, aides are trying to find a mutually agreeable day for Harry to meet up with Charles in London. Harry's been warned not to wreck this, as it could be the last chance to mend things with his father. Although Meghan doesn't want to visit the UK, she's not against Harry going over to speak with his father to call a truce. Nah, I think it's more of, make sure that you're in the will, Harry. That's why she's not opposed to Harry going back to seeing his father. The source continues, Harry's people are keen to find a date so that he is able to meet with his father. Team Sussex is being very flexible about it, so there's hope that Charles will be able to find time in his busy schedule to accommodate it. Harry and Meghan bought their luxury Portuguese villa in the exclusive Costa Terra Golf and Ocean Club back in October. The idyllic holiday home is nestled in a private 722-acre plot an hour south of Lisbon. While Harry potentially reunites with his father, Meghan will be putting the finishing touches to the couple's villa, which is almost complete. Before I continue, let me just give some of my thoughts. Here's the thing. I don't buy for a second that Harry and Meghan have a villa in Portugal, unless they're trying to hide their money and they invested it in this asset. Perhaps, maybe that's exactly what's going on here. But you would think that since Meghan wants to be this lifestyle guru, that perhaps maybe some of the content that she's struggling to come up with could have been possibly going to Portugal and redoing the villa. I think that would be somewhat interesting, but we're talking about Meghan Markle. She is about as basic as you can get and does not have an original idea in her head. I am sure one of her teammates probably listening to this and saying, hey, what a great idea. And you can see Meghan saying, okay, we need to go find a place to rent in Portugal and pretend that we own it and make something out of it. That's what I can see happening. I don't believe for a second that these two actually have a villa that they're going to use for their summer home. Like, we all know that Meghan is one of those fake Instagrammers, that what we see her put up on her page is not a reflection of what her life is really like. It's my opinion, but everything that we see about Meghan Markle is completely fake. But I digress. Back to the article. Taking control. Sources say Meghan has been very hands-on with the interior design, and although the high-end Denton House design firm, known for creating some of the world's most glamorous resort homes, has been involved, it's Meghan who's been picking out the details herself. She's chosen everything, a source says. Meghan likes to take control. No shit, Sherlock. But she also likes things to her taste. Although Denton House have been doing all the interiors, Meghan's made sure that she has her finishing touches to the project. It's very much Meghan's style. Well, of course it is, because anything else would not be accepted. And their new European base also has the advantage of some very familiar neighbors. Harry's cousin, Princess Eugenie, and her husband, Jack Brooksbank, regularly holiday in the resort. Jack is even said to have given the Sussexes some help in procuring the property. So the upcoming family holiday, which will see them fly from California with their children Archie 6 and little Betty 4, as well as Meghan's mother, Doria, will also be a good excuse for Harry to catch up with his cousin, who is firmly backing his planned face-to-face with the monarch. It goes on to say, Harry and Meghan will meet up with Eugenie and her family while they're in Portugal, the source says. Eugenie is probably the only member of the family that Harry has remained on speaking terms with. She's very much in favor of Harry meeting up with his father. But while the Duke is likely to be grateful of Eugenie's support, purchasing his slice of Portuguese paradise comes at a time when he and his wife remain at loggerheads with the rest of the family. Harry gave a controversial interview to the BBC last month after losing his court battle for automatic increased security when visiting his home country. While he admitted that he can't see a world where he and his young family would come back to the UK, Harry did tell the outlet that he hopes for a reconciliation with his family. "There's no point in continuing to fight anymore," he said. "Life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff." Charles, 76, is currently living with an undisclosed form of cancer. Just weeks ago, another insider told Closer that the king is heartbroken because he hasn't been able to build a relationship with his grandchildren. Charles has already missed so many milestones that he can never get back, they said. The hope is that Harry will stop being so hard-headed and bring the kids over to spend some time with their grandfather. This isn't a matter that can continually be kicked down the road. With Charles's health and the kids growing up so fast, time is precious. Now, a source says that the king is still deeply hurt by what he perceives as one of his greatest betrayals. He wants to speak to his son and communicate with his grandchildren, but he's so afraid that anything he says or does will make it into the press. The best course of action until now has been to remain silent. However, his illness has made him reevaluate the relationship with his son. He doesn't want to leave things unresolved. Time is ticking on. And it seems that Harry is willing to meet his father's wishes, as the source reveals that he plans to formally invite members of the firm to the 2027 Invictus Games in Birmingham. While the event, which runs from July 12th through July 17th, falls on Queen Camilla's 80th birthday celebrations, it's being hailed by insiders as Harry's most significant reconciliation gesture yet. Harry is planning to go big with his 2027 plans to visit the UK, the source adds. He's hoping that extending an olive branch by inviting the family to his event will start the process of building bridges. He is hoping everyone can put their differences aside to support such a worthwhile cause. I totally believe that this was put out by the Harkle PR team to manifest making this happen. I mean, how ridiculous is it talking about Birmingham 2027? It's like 2 years away. Knock on wood, Charles makes it 2 more years. Like, does anybody know what's going to happen next year? Does anybody know what's going to happen even tomorrow? Like, why wait till Birmingham 2027 to make amends? Or do we need the branches to grow back from this olive tree? Because, at this point, there are no more branches left on that damn thing. What I get from this article is the smell of desperation. The Harkles are desperately trying to get the attention of the royal family because they're not doing well. And, Meghan's going to put this all on the shoulders of Prince Harry, who hasn't found his purpose, who's not bringing in any kind of money, and it's falling all on Meghan's shoulders. Poor Meghan. And I'm talking just on the surface, the messages that they want the public to take in. Do I believe any of this is what is going on? No, I don't. But this is being put out there now to keep us distracted, to keep us wondering, is Harry ever going to reconcile with his family? Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And finally, the last tabloid that we're looking at is Heat magazine from the UK, with Meghan and Harry on the cover, Harry's divorce fears. Now, before even reading this article, you can tell that this is all Meghan. And I'll explain why after I go through this article with you, and then tell you what I think is possibly happening here this week. I'm definitely sensing a pattern happening here, but we'll talk more about this after we look at this article. Headline, Harry fears Meghan won't need me anymore. Meghan's going it alone and Harry is worried. Making a name for herself outside of Brand Sussex has always been a priority for Meghan Markle, and her solo business ventures have certainly been thriving in recent times with the success of her lifestyle brand As Ever, whatever. However, as Meghan's ambitions reach new heights, sources tell Heat that it's causing tension with husband Prince Harry, as he fears she won't need him anymore. Meghan has set her sights on becoming a billionaire. That's an important goal for her, and Harry shares it to a degree. But what matters most to him is carving a niche outside of the royal family. He wants to prove to them that he's not an underachieving grifter and ensure his marriage lasts and his family is happy, an insider tells Heat. As time goes on, however, it's becoming clear that money is more of a priority to Meghan in order to maintain their lavish lifestyle. And Harry knows she's frustrated that they're struggling to keep pace with the elite earners in Hollywood. The source adds that, at his lowest points, it seems like Harry also worries their marriage won't last. We're told his fear is that Meghan will reach a stage where she doesn't need him anymore. She's still successful, regardless of whether they stay together. Meghan and Harry, who tied the knot in 2018 and share children Archie 6 and little Betty 4, have had their fair share of drama throughout their 7-year marriage and have even been hit by divorce rumors over the years. In January, a damning Vanity Fair article, a publication that once had close relations with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, addressed speculation that Meghan's team had been shopping around for a post-divorce book deal. The allegations was quickly shut down while Harry himself has spoken out about the rumors. "We've apparently divorced maybe 10, 12 times as well," he said. "It's hard to keep up, but that's why you just sort of ignore it." But now, as the couple's careers take different trajectories, with Meghan carving out a niche for herself in the wellness and lifestyle industry, while Harry focuses on charity work, we're told he's determined to try and keep up with his wife in order to avoid being left behind. Our sources say, to be fair to Meghan, she's actually carrying Harry now, to a large degree at least. There aren't many money-making opportunities coming his way because he's more focused on charity work and philanthropy. The fear is that she could be more successful without him. Harry knows this, and that's why he's panicking. Originally named American Riviera Orchard, as ever, whatever, has grown from sending much ridiculed jars of jam to celeb friends into a booming business with multiple products and an accompanying Netflix series entitled With Love, Meghan, which is due to return for his second season in autumn. Come on, Meghan. Even the dumbest people can see that this whole entire thing is such a scam. Meghan, who first found fame on TV drama Suits in 2011, is also set to follow in the footsteps of the Hollywood elite that she's so keen to be a part of after launching her debut Napa Valley Rosé as part of As Ever's latest range. Other products include an apricot spread and a high-end honey. And tapping into her blogging roots, the former actress' social media has also been growing to reflect her new sense of purpose, which is what? Being an Instagram-loving bitch wife? I mean, Meghan literally has come full circle to where she started out. I don't see that as a success. I see that as a massive failure. But according to Meghan, in her eyes, she doesn't see anything that has happened as a failure. And anything that didn't go her way, it's somebody else's fault. It's never her fault. That's if we are to believe any of this garbage that we have been witnessing over the past 7 years. I'm going to trust my gut here on this one, but I firmly believe that a lot of these failures that we see with Meghan just wasting money in all these endeavors that just constantly keep on failing is intentional. None of this stuff is meant to be a success. It's all to keep us distracted and continuously talking about this online, which I do believe is the main objective here in their whatever social experiment that they've been doing on us for the past 7 years with this psyops. And the reason why I say that is because Harry and Meghan have access to the best resources in the world to build their brand as well as to market them. And they continue to keep on getting more opportunities. So, I do think that a lot of the buzz that's being generated from these failures is really a test to see what people say online, proving their point that there's so much hate and misinformation out there so they could push their agenda. But I digress. Let me finish up this article. Showcasing her wholesome aesthetic, albeit at a luxury price tag, Meghan's Instagram is filled with as ever whatever promotion and sweet videos of her and Harry's children, including a recent family trip to Disneyland for little Betty's birthday. By contrast, Harry's ongoing charity work, although incredibly rewarding for him personally, won't be bringing in the big bucks. Then there's the matter of the recent loss of his legal challenge over the level of security that he receives in the UK, which resulted in a reported £1.5 million lawyer's bill. When it comes to Meghan's plans for the future, our insider says she has extremely high hopes for her lifestyle range, but what's badly needed is sponsorship and advertising. As high profile and alluring as Meghan's products may appear to be on the surface, there's no getting around the fact that times are tough in all corners of the business world right now. There's big pressure on startup projects like As Ever to justify themselves being highly profitable right from the get-go. That's why Meghan's been staggering the release of products and building buzz for people to see that the stock is in high demand and selling fast in order to hopefully attract more backers. The source continues, and of course, Meghan wants her and Harry to make as much money in other areas as they can too. They just can't rest on their laurels and spend their savings, not with the tens of millions flying out the door on staff and running costs together with their extremely expensive lifestyle. Harry's doing his best to jump in and reach out to his own contacts, but deep down, he's worried. Meghan's constantly looking to him for ways to grow their brand and keep making millions, so it's a huge amount of pressure. The source adds, this is a world away from where he was at the start of their USA journey, when they made a fortune with the Netflix deal and the advance he received for his book Spare. Those were huge, once-in-a-lifetime paydays by anybody's standards, but trying to sustain that level of income is going to be near impossible. Harry knows this, but the grim reality is that Meghan refuses to accept it. She's demanding they think bigger, that they strive to both push themselves as much as she is, and that she's got Harry seriously panicked he won't be able to fulfill those expectations. And while Harry's work with the Invictus Games isn't financially lucrative, bar his Heart of Invictus documentary in 2023 as part of his and Meghan's reported $100 million deal with Netflix, it has provided an opportunity when it comes to potentially making amends with his estranged family. Seemingly wanting to put an end to the feud with his brother Prince William and father King Charles, which has been rumbling on since the Sussexes quit royal life in 2020, Harry appeared to extend an olive branch after inviting both to the next Invictus Games, which will take place in Birmingham in July 2027. Having his family back in his corner will no doubt be invaluable should Harry's fears that Meghan no longer needs him prove correct. What do you think, folks? I think Meghan put that out there as a warning to Prince Harry, saying, look, I'm going to leave you if you don't get your act together and go back and make amends to get us back into the family. This goes in line with the article from the other UK magazine. Now, as you can see, the media is clearly making Harry look like he's some deadbeat dad who literally is walking around the United States with no purpose and putting all the weight on Meghan's shoulder to be the breadwinner. Well, what about like the 40, 50 million that Harry brought with him from his late mother's inheritance as well as his great-grandmother's inheritance? Like, what happened to all that money? Like, they make it sound like, oh, they are scraping by and struggling to put food on the table, and Meghan has to be the breadwinner here. Too effing bad that Meghan wants to become a billionaire. Do something that people actually want, not scam the world in this BS. You can clearly see how PR is being used, and we know that the royals use the media to tell their story or to communicate with one another. And that's what I believe is going on here. Like, take, for example, the first article that I read to everyone from Us Weekly. I believe that that was a message coming from either William's PR team in establishing here in America that Prince William is the respected brother. Prince William is going to be king. Prince William has duty and purpose, while his brother, who is trying to play king here in the United States, is a clown. And the article was done in a very subtle way. And this is what I notice with whenever Prince William or Catherine are being talked about in these kinds of magazines, there is a different tone. Putting aside when Meghan's sticky little fingers are all over the articles in Star magazine, I'm talking about when the palace is running PR for Catherine and William and how they promote the brand of William and Catherine to the world. You notice in these various tabloid magazines, there's a different tone of what they represent. It's more refined, it's more family-oriented, it's very positive, as opposed to when we look at Harry and Meghan, everything's so controversial and very dysfunctional, filled with drama. Meghan knows that more magazines will sell if she is controversial, and that's why she does it. Meghan honestly doesn't care that she looks like trash, she just wants people talking about her. The logic makes no kind of sense, but obviously this is what they want because what ends up happening is people like us who end up talking about it. But what do you think is going on here? Definitely leave your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content, but until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!
Such a fraud.